Now we are live, so say hello to the internet, everyone. Say hello, internet.
Oh, hey, internet. Woo.
Alright, so this is another paradigm shift after party hangout. We've got all our friends here. Oh, Ricky's in here. Right on, Ricky. How's it going, man?
Hi.
Ricky's microphone works too. Perfect. All right, so we got quite a few people joining us. It was another Share What You Know show. A lot of things came up. Wizards was sort of a running theme throughout the show, as is sort of a theme throughout every show, I think. But yeah, I was actually going to pass it over to Kristen just because she actually had like sort of an update for us in terms of like, she was doing some free hugs just over the weekend, and she wanted to share with us how that went. And she's got an awesome new shirt on, by the way, too. So.
Yes,
Yeah. Represent. Cool. Yeah, Kristen, go ahead. You can start us off, and then we'll just sort of branch out from there and go wherever.
Okay. Well, this is the second time I did the free hugs on Saturday, and it was awesome. A lot of people came up to us asking why we were doing this, and we just told them, spreading the love and peace and positivity, and we want to, spread the love, and yeah, a lot of people were just like, that's great, and a lot of people came up to me too because I had my other purple shirt on with the flower of life, and some people were like, oh my gosh, it's the flower of life. I was like, yes, do you know about it? And they were like, yeah. And they would just give us thumbs up and tell us, just keep doing what we're doing, and we just were waving at people and telling them to have a good day, and everyone was waving at us too, and they were honking horns and stuff. But there were some people, that would just walk by and not want hugs. We had a couple negative people, but we just kept saying hi, and and have a good day, and we didn't let that bring our energy down. So we just ended up just kept showing the love and stuff, and it was really nice. I couldn't stop smiling the whole day. I was so happy. I was like, yes. And then we went over to the park and we meditated, and it was awesome. And we had a lot of great synchronicities happening that day too. My friend, she lost her wallet and she lost her crystal book, but somebody actually turned it in, and we went there and picked it up, and so then we went to Chipotle, which then we found another guy who has the flower of life tattooed on him, and we told him about the free hugs, and we told him what we're doing, and he was like, that's awesome, so he might join us one of these days. And then yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it, and I want to keep doing it. And I also saw your video too about just standing on the street, like having those signs. Like I was gonna maybe do one that says like "honk for peace" or something like that, and just go down here to the street, and yeah. So that's pretty much it. But I encourage everyone to do that, because it just gave me a good feeling, not just them. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Talking about that, I remember that video that Skull did where it was, congratulations, you passed the test. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And you get a free button. That was just too cool.
And now
that's just the way
Kristen's got her buttons coming too, so she's got extra loadout.
Oh, what just happened?
Someone took a picture.
Picture.
I don't have my headphones in for you guys. I'm sorry.
Rick.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And Kristen, I think you sort of hit upon a key thing there with the idea of like when some people sort of like respond negatively to what you're doing and stuff, to not take it personally. I think that's a really important thing, and it's a good practice that you get used to, because I think like our reflex is to almost be like, hey, what did I do to you, man? Like that's sort of a thing. Yeah. Go ahead, yeah. You can find my headphones.
But we got a couple negative people, and at first I kind of felt that energy, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to let that bug me. So I just kept going and kept waving at people and kept talking to people and stuff like that. And everyone that came, every which way, we were like, hey, how you doing? Have a good day. Would you like a free hug? And then there was this lady who came up to us, which I absolutely adore. she was like, oh my gosh, you guys are my children. She goes, I used to do this in San Francisco in the 80s, and I'm just like, oh, that's so awesome. And she had her dog with her, and she went to the market, and she came back and gave us more hugs, and oh, it was so sweet. Yeah.
That's cool. That's pretty sweet. Awesome. Anybody else, feel free to jump in. I mean, has anybody else here practiced doing like free hugs and stuff?
I give hugs all the time.
Yeah, that counts too. Yeah, definitely. I would encourage everyone sort of like try that out when the time's right. But it's good that you got some friends to do it with you, Kristen, because yeah, it can be. It's a lot easier to do it with friends. So that's pretty cool.
Because if no one wanted to do it with me, I was just gonna go out there myself, but I would feel kind of awkward. I don't know, but it was cool that my friend Ariana went with me, because she's sort of like me too, where we're going through the same shifty stuff, and she has a lot of good stories and a lot of great experiences that she's going through, which is teaching me a lot, and I'm teaching her a lot. So I'm really excited for that. So, and getting more people just to join and see that I'm doing it, so that they come along and they share the peace and love. So yeah.
Yeah, and whereabouts are you located again?
I'm in Vacaville, California. It's like in between Sacramento and San Francisco.
Okay, and like I mean, with all the stuff that you're doing, you haven't sort of like, you don't have like a Paradigm Shift Community Facebook page for where you are yet, do you?
Not yet. Wait, you're kind of going in and out. No, I have. Yeah, I haven't done a community yet, but it's just been me and her, and it's been her other friend Annie. So we're gonna start handing out flyers when we do the hugs too. I'm gonna make them up and.
Yeah, like I can help you out. I can help you out with the flyers and stuff too if you need help with that. But yeah, like that's the next step. Because I mean, like, I think what you're doing is awesome, and then like the next way is, because I mean, that lady who was like, oh, you're like my children. Obviously, that's someone who you want to stay in contact with, right? So like, do you now, unless you personally took her information, like some people, it's sort of like they have it, and then you may not see them again. But if it's meant to happen, you will run into them again. So opposed to everyone getting a pamphlet, and then they can always have that open opportunity to connect.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, no, I think that's awesome. Like I think you guys are doing great. So.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll just sort of see like what other topics and stuff. Looks like Ricky's got his crown on. He's into the drawing. Where's the drawing app? There's a drawing app. How do you draw your custom thing? Oh my goodness, that's like the mustache. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, all right. Well, we may have to play around with this, but anyways, does anybody else have a particular topic that they wanted to bring into the circle? Literally anything, metaphysical or otherwise.
I think there was something that was said tonight on the radio show that I thought was really interesting. I believe it was Joe that said it about learning to listen, and I really can resonate with that. It's like had a pretty heavy week, and I went outside and just kind of said, God, Creator, Universe, I'm having a hard time with this. Could you like influx me with the spirit of love just so that I can make it through this day? And I was taking out the trash that my mom had, and my dad just wanted me to roll up the windows because he thought it was going to rain. I turned on the van. No sooner after, I mean, I wouldn't say 2 or 3 minutes after I said that, I turned on the van and the radio was on, and Carry On My Wayward Son was actually playing on the radio, and it just had started. So to me, that's listening. That's really like it's just a direct response from the universe saying, keep going.
That's a good synchronistic observation. Yeah.
That is.
Skull Potter.
Skull Potter. Took me a second to figure out what you're talking about. Wingardium Leviosa. That's the only spell I know, I'll be honest. That's cool. What other synchronicities have come up in other people's life? I mean, they come up every day. Are any of us like taking like I think having a synchronicity journal is actually a pretty cool idea. And we should all do that.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
It's a little bit choppy.
Okay.
Is that Joseph?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, all right. It all makes sense. But yeah, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead. Or I think he froze actually. No, he's still there.
Yeah. No,
you're good.
I was just gonna say like for like synchronicities, like it can get really like me at least because I've been playing with it, and it can get really intricate, because it's kind of like, I guess there's all sorts of like meanings to numbers and whatnot, but I like use my own system, because you kind of got me into it because you were always talking about how you see 9-6, and I was like, well, there's so many numbers that can have significance, and there's only 9 of them that make all the rest of them. So if I like encode every single number with a significance for myself, every time I look at any display of numbers, I'm getting all this extra information, and I've just encoded it to be like really positive. Like 5s will tell me to like think about myself in terms of the situation. 7s will remind me to think of magic. 8s remind me of people important to me. 1s remind me of God. 9s remind me of God. 3s and 4s remind me of miracles. But every time I look at any display of numbers, I read all of that into it, and it starts to become a recurring pattern. And then I'm tracking all this meaningful information subconsciously, and it just starts synchronistically like. I'll see things exactly when I need to see them. I can get so much information out of a license plate just because I'm trusting the universe to show me the right license plates to be meaningful to me, and to help guide me through my day. So it's like, you can take anything and you can just like parse it down to any kind of meaning that you can throw in there. The universe will reflect it right back at you in more grandiose ways the more that you use those encodings. So that's definitely a really powerful tool.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Like I like that idea what you're saying there, giving each number an actual like it's creating your own language that you're sharing with the universe, and then the universe shares it back with you. Yeah, the programming idea. That's wicked. Is anybody else like sort of doing that, like actively programming their synchronicities, using numbers or letters or anything or symbols?
I'm finding.
Actually.
Go ahead, whoever.
I always see 1111, and which is very awesome. But that's the only numbers I really see. I haven't really seen a lot of other ones. But yeah, I always see it when I'm not expecting it.
I actually had I guess it was a total the other day that was 888. And that's not something you see common on a clock because it doesn't go up that high. So, yeah, I had to go look it up and see what that was, at least to other people. And then I just kind of considered it if that was something I would integrate into my system.
That's cool. Yeah, like I've been seeing 555s like here and there, 444s and stuff. But again, like to me, like any of like the 1111s and the 444s and stuff, I sort of like take them kind of as the same thing. Like I haven't honestly, like I think what Joe's doing is pretty cool. But yeah, even just like taking them from a simplistic level of just like, hey, pay attention, or like, yeah, you're doing awesome, is kind of a good way to go about it too. But yeah, like I think, like I'd just be curious, like anything you guys want to talk about with like synchronicities or anything else. I think that's like super cool, interesting thing.
I had 314 several times, and I actually put 3 chapters of 14 together from Bhagavad Gita, Permaculture Designer's Manual, and the Kybalion, and I gave it to several of my friends, and they were kind of like, whoa, what is this about, Steven? Actually, Think and Grow Rich was the other one. Kybalion was chapter 15, and my friend did like numerology. He added 141414, and that's 15. And so I had this little manual of these mixed chapters that's pretty enlightening. So I can write that down if you guys want to check out those chapters of those books. Some heavy stuff.
Well, I don't know about you guys over there, but when I practice my synchronicity, I actually practice sun gazing, where I sun gaze at 30 minutes and 11 seconds. Like, from top to bottom, I was going in synchronicity. And as a result of it, my body just all of a sudden, like, I've gone from Super Saiyan 3 now. It's like gone past that already.
It's a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Yep. Like,
Andy, why do you always sound like so sneaky?
Well,
He's hiding. He's
Because
hiding
he
right
doesn't
now.
want to face the wrath of mom.
Yeah, his mom's somewhere.
yeah, have to eat me like a pig. Well, hey, Kristen, if you like to give me a free hug, that would be great, you know, because my girlfriend went through a tough time and, like, I had to help her a lot. Give her a hug, too.
I'll give her an air hug.
Oh, you can give me a hug. Come on.
Hug too. Well, because I can't go through the computer. If I could, I would.
How about
What?
how about an air hug? How does that sound?
Okay. There you go.
At least that felt a lot better because seriously, my girlfriend, she's just one of the few things that I just love about giving free hugs is that sometimes you might not know who's the next person you're going to hug and how they're going to treat you later. Because I don't know about you guys, I gave free hugs to a lot of people, but for the first time when I gave free hugs to my girlfriend and told her that I want to date out with her, she literally blushing so hard. I felt like I just wanted to chase the answer down to the ground right now. And I was like, oh, wins. And so yeah, from that day on, and for kisses also, if you don't count that one in, free kisses.
Free kisses?
I'm also laughing at just like Andy's like audio just sounds really funny.
It's hard to hear him at times.
Yeah, it sounds like
I
that.
know. Like, from the day that I dated with my girlfriend, I actually not only give hugs, but only kisses.
I can really hear you on that one. And actually, I was gonna say I wanted to pass it over to Ricky, if that's okay with Andy. Ricky is one of my buddies from Paradigm Corner. He's going to China soon. But Ricky, did you hear the show, or was there anything that you maybe wanted to share with the group? You're always
Tonight's
full of
show?
information. Thank you. Thanks.
Tonight's show? Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh yeah. Well, the song was pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, the sing along.
I thought it went well.
Yeah. So I did look up the lyric as well. Yeah. And did Andy sing with you?
I don't know if Andy was tuned in.
Okay, yeah. Mhm.
I don't even know that song, man.
Andy, do you know what song we're even talking about?
Yes, I know, and I hate it. Come on.
I
Why
love
do
it!
Andy, what did that song ever do to you?
That song's awesome. Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? I love it.
Like
Reminds
the
me
lyrics, man.
Yeah, those are good lyrics.
Come on.
What's that, Ricky? What does it remind you of?
Actually, Kristen, that song reminded me of my Davis days. I was living in Davis, near Sacramento back then when I saw the movie.
Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah. hmm
Skull, to be honest, I like metal songs and dark lyrics and that, man.
Yeah, I know. Metal and Celine Dion. That's all you listen to. We know.
Shadow, man.
I'm not joking. He does.
Hmm.
Celine Dion. I'm not bashing Celine Dion, man. Don't get me wrong. She's a Canadian icon. I'm not allowed to. I think I go to jail for that. Ricky,
great music. I just love it.
Ricky, was there anything else that you want? I mean, you've always been like knees deep in information and knowledge. Was there anything you want to share?
Well, I've been, uh, thinking about, say, the agency of spirituality in our society. It seems like we've been talking about like whether we've been living in a happy world lately or not. And actually, I've been fairly happy ever since I got reconnected with the community here in London. However, this is actually I feel that this is a more information-rich society than China, where I regularly stay. Like information is actually much more filtered there.
Oh
I
yeah.
would say by materialism and by the false sense that there's still economic growth. However, here in North America, I think people can actually see through a lot of the falseness of economic growth and industrial culture, and that is where like what can actually make people think deeper, and that's why we and also the other thing is the available of information here and the richness of information. So I almost feel bombarded with a great deal of information that I sometimes get mesmerized with it, and I've been in a constant state of jet lag ever since I'm back. Yeah, last month I went to a sweat lodge, like soon after I came back, and then I got reconnected with a great deal of political activism that's been affecting this part of the world, and it's and which I don't actually hardly get to experience in China. And these things do make people feel sometimes depressed sometimes, because these are political activisms that have to do with atrocities around the world, disasters around the world. And people are so tuned into these things in North America. And it's easy to get actually carried away, and however, actually, I feel a great deal happier since I came back. So and also, at Paradigm Shift, we always talk about what makes us happy. And I just don't know how to answer this question. And I'm wondering what you guys think about it. Whether we should be happier even when the world seems to be falling apart, right? So yeah, and this is the same topic which we've been talking about here in London, for quite some time.
I think we become most unhappy when we forget that we're spirit and we think that we're only physical. Then we get trapped in the material life, and all of the muddiness of it overwhelms us. But when we remember when we're spirit, that's when we're most enlivened, like the free hugs and that's like more spiritual association than it is actually physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And we're actually spirit being trapped in material. So I would say the idea that we have to be material even when we could be spiritual can be depressing. Like we always want to liberate ourselves from all the determinisms in this material world. And I guess that was probably what Robin Williams was thinking before, he eventually called it quits. So to us, it seemed that depression has taken Robin Williams away. It could go deeper than that, right?
So I just wanted to. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to read a quote for you that really provide, because I kind of understand what you're talking about, and I've been going through that a little bit myself. And this is just a voice that gave me a lot of comfort in that time. And I don't know if it's. I just want to. It's not that long. I was just going to read it to share it with you guys, and then I can give you like the information about the book if you're interested. Is that cool?
Okay.
All right. There is an overall plan of which you are not aware, and to which you can only contribute by being who you are, doing your best, seeking your higher truth, and following your heart. This is God's plan of salvation, not only of the soul consciousness, but of the earth itself. The time is coming when the culmination of eons of effort will bring forth a renewed level of light in your planet. It will still be a schoolroom that offers an opportunity to choose between the negative and positive aspects. There will, however, be more light and more awareness of this light. There will be a balance where love can flourish, where kindness is a power and recognized as such, where God can again be placed in the center of consciousness of each human being. The state of grace needs the recipient in order to be complete. You are held in the hand of God and totally loved. When that love can be received, the circuit is completed. When one moves closer to the source, there is a moment that is difficult to describe in any language. The receiver becomes the giver, and the receptacle becomes the source, and then the dance of eternity really begins. And that's it.
Wow.
That was awesome.
What's that from?
This is from Emmanuel's book. And the introduction is by Ram Dass, but it's a channeled entity by this woman named Pat Roadgast. I'll probably post like some of the information on Facebook if you guys are interested in. This book has like, in a really difficult time, this book has given me such comfort. It's crazy, and like this, like I'm convinced this is not a being from this planet, and it's just a beautiful inspiration, beautiful words, beautiful art. So if anyone's interested, I'll post that on Facebook or something, or I'll post it, I guess, to the Paradigm Shift website or something.
If you would like, try to post it up on my timeline, and let's see what I will respond to that being. How does that sound?
Yeah, either
It is
of you.
awesome.
Well, what I was thinking is you could put the link up there in the chat box, and then I'll
Awesome.
Paradigm Shift as well. But yeah, it sounds awesome.
Cool.
I was going to say another point about the material life focus and depression in that is that whatever you put your consciousness focus on, it will expand into that. So if you have a bad day and you dwell on that, your consciousness will expand on that further and further until maybe you do want to commit suicide. But if you focus on happiness or like chanting, I'm finding is like a secret weapon for this era that we're in with all this strife and everything, because it lets you immediately go into a meditative state and get out of all this logical speculation about all sorts of things, and then it has the sound, So I've been going to like ISKCON temples where they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and when you're there for so long, for like an hour doing that, when you walk away from it, you're like a tuning fork. You're just like, there's like nothing else that can penetrate through that, and it really changes your like, I don't know, inner frequency. And I'm finding that there's a lot of truth in the Hindu Vedas and all that. I mean, it has almost everything, because when we get into psychism and all these other things and try to put modern terms on it, when you go back to the Vedas, they got it all already. They got like samadhis, all of it. It's all there. So yeah.
Steve, if you like, try Tantra. Tantra is the direct path towards enlightenment, where it's said that there's no such thing as duality, and then instead, unlike the Vedas where they taught you about like the knowledge and everything, this is practice. Tantra takes it to the next level where they said, what about having sex with a partner and achieve that highest state? one moment of sex. That's what they do. I grew up in that tradition, so trust me.
But isn't tantra like beyond just the sexual part too? Though I mean, there's like a lot
yeah.
to that.
Oh yeah, but there's a lot of things that people mistaken for sex. Is that sex is not love? It's a form of love, but people lust for it. It's a passion sometimes.
I think the other thing that I've been finding in the like Hindu or Krishna consciousness is that, you know, they acknowledge that we're in Kali Yuga, so it's like there is no surprise when things continually to get worse in politics and all that, because it's all prophesized as what Kali Yuga would be. So knowing that and then having the secret weapons on how to refocus your consciousness, it's like you're out of the picture, you're getting slowly out of the mess. And then the other thing was, we were talking about happiness. They say that one of the greatest agonies is not having association with like-minded people or devotees. So when I've been going to the temples and that, it's like they chant, they dance, everybody's like happy, very friendly, very philosophical and talking. When I'm away from that with normal friends, it's like I'm energized and they benefit from my genuine happiness. So I keep going back, of course, because I'm getting charged up each time I go, and I think that's an important part of the whole happiness thing. Is what are your friends of circles? Are they charging you up, or are they bringing you down? And that's questionable about Robin Williams, because they say that all these actors in Hollywood, the parties are just full of drugs and all sorts of things. So I don't know.
Well, think about it, Steve. What you said is normal thing. If you look around, people who are famous, they mostly squander their lives pursuing something that is meaningless. Just think about it, and you will know that it's nothing new. When you talk about Hare Krishna, there is another group of people that can do just the same thing, but their practice is very deep. And you have to really live with them in order to be. Once you stay with them, they'll transform you permanently. And those are the tantric monks, the Tibetan Buddhists. Try visiting one of their monasteries, live there for a while, be their disciple, and you'll find out it's totally different, dude. I was one of their disciples, and I wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah, I've studied Zen, but what's been interesting with the Krishnas is that's just like there's this disciplic, lineage, and it just seems like it's so vast on the knowledge, and then the principles just, I don't know, they make sense. Like at first 6 months I was introduced to it, I pretty much challenged it up and down. And now I find myself surrendering further and further. And like sannyasa, that sounds like I'm being primed for that. I don't know if I do it, but it sounds like it.
Well, think about it, dude.
I was gonna say I spent a year at an ashram in Hawaii, a Vedic ashram, Vaishnavas, and it was amazing. I did like chanting's really powerful, and it's cool to see, because I just went to a chant last night. And it's cool to see someone who's been going down the Vedic path. So,
right, but there's more. Just imagine.
I agree.
There's more to a Vedic. There's more to a Vedic than you think, dude. The chanting in by itself is not enough. Like, to be honest, it's not. It's in by itself cannot do any good for you. You first have to. The chanting takes off in the form of a singing, and singing takes up forms of music, which means there's a certain note inside of us that if we hit it, it's going to raise our vibes up. And in addition to all sorts of stuff, that's what gives you the ability not just simply, not just simply just to experience anything the way it is, but you can go to trance-like meditations with it.
Well, it's just putting your heart into anything you are chanting or anything you are doing. Like when you kind of like once you start chanting and once you start chanting with devotion, and then you start to realize, well, like singing, like because they tell you like singing is just an offering to God. Don't just go there and chant, dance, clap. Everything you're doing, the food, like the food being prepared, everything that they're doing is an offering to God. And it's like, and they'll tell you too. It's like make your life be an offering to God. And there's gonna come, like for me, what happened is there came a point where the chanting became a ritual that I was having a hard time putting my heart into it, because as a musician, I would want to evolve it, and
Well,
What the?
Oh, good job, guys.
something
Give me a
happened.
second, I'll be back.
He dropped out. Don't worry. It's okay.
I had that same experience though with the chanting where it didn't like connect with me. It was just like meaningless for a while. But there was one time when I was driving a couple of weeks ago where I like started hitting it earnestly, and later on I swear it felt like God, Krishna, my higher self, whatever, came down and was just like, enough of your nonsense. Do you give an F? And like was really like scary, but like at the same time it was almost like I was calling out God's name, and then it was answered. And I don't know. It's pretty. I think it's pretty interesting about the whole concept.
There's an explanation. Yes, but there's an explanation. If you want to know, I told Christian that if you had a chance to watch over the meditation that I did today, like around 7 o'clock in the Central Time, like just ask Tony. When I chanted the any syllable or any Hindu syllable, it's not just simply me doing the voices that makes him into a trance. It's actually like when you speak through the heart, it's like you're pretty much. I literally not just erase my ego, but everyone in the chat.
Yeah, one thing that I think I should comment on as far as what Andy's saying is we had our mics muted, so as he was chanting, I was chanting as well along with him, and that vibration, that went through the whole body. But at the same time, it has to be something you enjoy. You have to be doing it for the right reason. Like to me, it's I'm trying to get more in touch with myself so I can help other people be more authentic and myself as well, and that leads to self-love. And if it's not going toward love, then you're doing it wrong. Because basically, I feel like that's the purpose, that's the meaning of life, is love. I mean, at one time there was one, and maybe one had self-love, but whenever one becomes two, then there has to be some sort of mutual respect there between one and two. And if there's not that respect, it leads to destruction. And if there is that respect and that understanding of realization of the oneness that they both are, then that actually leads to creation, creativity, and the whole purpose of why it happened to begin with.
Well, you, Tony, why you're like in a trance where you don't even know if you're here or you're there or anywhere,
Well, yeah, but you really touched upon it when you said it's about the dissolving of ego, to the point where you can just realize that you're part of that original source of light, that original source of love.
But that's none of my business.
What's Kermit drinking?
It looks like Lipton tea.
Oh yeah, it is tea, isn't it?
I love that meme, man. Hey, I was thinking of some ideas, Tony. I was thinking for Halloween, because I was Hermes last year. I'm thinking with the way my hair has grown, what could I pull off?
Matthew Silver, John the Baptist.
Oh,
Fart your heart out, man.
oh yeah. I could do Cheech.
Yeah, you could
No, I
definitely.
don't
Well,
know
not
about
Cheech, but Chong.
Oh yeah, Chong. Chong
Welcome
is the
back,
guy
Chris.
that. Cheech is the guy that goes, he's like, far out, man.
Yeah, you're trying to make me do it, aren't you? But yeah, Chong is definitely the one that you could pass for if you done it right.
You know what I think would be funny? I don't know if I do it as good, but I could do like that Jimmy Fallon thing. I'm not doing Reading Rainbow though. Like I do one karaoke night, but for Halloween.
Oh, that would be neat.
I don't know if I'd have to trim the beard though.
Oh, please don't, dude. Jesus.
So did you hear what we was talking about, Michael, earlier before you came in? Was you checking out the YouTube or anything like that?
Oh, well, I just came in and then I heard
Well,
you guys talking about.
We was talking about mantras and how the vibrations of them, the Vedic mantras, and how they can affect you, but how it really has to come from a source of love. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, mantras.
Whenever you do chanting, and if you sing out loud, you better put a disclaimer or a precaution. You will put somebody in a trance if you do it right. I'm
So what did you have to say on that, Michael?
There are many ways you can put yourself
But yeah,
in a
you're
trance.
right, Andy. But anyway, what was she saying, Michael?
Like they say, Da Vinci used to like, he used to like light a candle, and then the candle. I guess they didn't have ceiling fans back then, but like he had a candle, and he'd basically look at the flicker, basically at the shadow of the candle.
Uh-huh.
You know that little flicker effect, and he would
Right,
just
yeah.
stare at it, and it would just put him into a trance.
Oh yeah, yeah, almost kind of like a strobe.
go and it worked.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah,
Because
that's
I mean,
definitely
isn't
So yeah,
most of this about putting yourself into a trance in order to, you know, or I guess as Jim Morrison would put it, I believe in a detachment from the five senses, a prolonged detachment from the five senses to obtain the unknown.
Yeah, it really is. Even like, of course, I know you study it as well, but like in self-hypnosis, that's a primary thing that you do in, well, I guess it would be just about everything where you're going into a state of meditation or a state of meditative focus. You know, you get to that point where it is actually a self-hypnosis. You calm your body down, you relax. It all has to do with the same thing, and that's like calming the mind and not focusing on the material and going within so that you can find that everybody's talking about.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Like I can say for an example, let's just say, is there any other girl in here besides Kristen?
Oh no.
Okay, let's just say for an example, not you, Kristen, but just say your name for example. So say if someone was trying to basically attract someone with that name, and they focused on it enough, it would come to a point where everywhere I looked or the person looked, I would see Kristen. I go to the guitar store. I don't think they make Kristen guitars, but I would see Kristen like everywhere. So when you put yourself in that mindset, I know it before, because from, not to go back to the Pillow Princess, but I'm saying, like, I would see a person's name over and over because it pretty much become in my subconscious. And
Yeah.
for a while, I might have been thinking, well, I don't know, maybe she's doing some type of magic on me or something. And she could have, but it could have also more so had to do with me.
So by that same account, though, instead of focusing on somebody's name, but like focusing on the presence of synchronicities, like somebody else was saying earlier, I think it was Zeros, I can't remember what his name was, but those synchronicities that occur, and if you're constantly, focusing and looking for that stuff, and it's in your mind, you're going to be drawn to it. You're going to be aware of it,
Kind of like a library.
even if it is your system. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like if say all you know is, say, Christianity or something. If you go into a library, you're going to be drawn to all the the holy books, the holy Bibles, the Revs, the Joel's Deans, you name it, Pastor Bob. But
Pastor
if
Bob,
you get a metaphysician in the store, or somebody that comes from a different school of thought, then they're going to see a totally different room. They're going to be, when they look at those books, it may be like, oh, yeah, cool. But, they'll see a whole different world. It's kind of like the story when they say you take I believe it's an electrician, a carpenter, and what was it? And a painter, and you put them all into one room. They all go into the same room, but they each see a totally different room.
Yeah. What's cool about it?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Scott.
No, I'm gonna say what's cool about it is that that's kind of like all that, that's what human beings are. All we do, we eat food and we're like, that's our sustenance, but we're consumers of information, and that's kind of that's part of the problem on the planet, but also part of the solution, because we've just been choosing the wrong information to consume. That's why we're eating all this bad food that they've been making and so on and so forth, because they keep telling us that's what you're supposed to eat. But if you're in the vicinity of another